Hello, everybody. It's Dr. Suzy Harris, and this is my podcast, Next7. Just to remind you that the focus of this podcast is really about bringing into the awareness if people can have access to clean organic food, clean water, and then access to functional health care. It kind of brings you to a place of health and wellness that I believe we would leave behind us, a planet that would help the next 7 generations thrive. So I feel very passionate about that. And I have a guest with me today that I'm very excited about as well. Reyna Morgan Richer, welcome.
Hi, Suzy. Thanks so much for having me.
Yes, I'm so glad you're here with me. Just a little bit about you for a second so people can get a feel for you. You grew up in Johnstown, Pennsylvania, and you currently live here in Vermont. Between beginnings and now, you've done some studying. You have a bachelor's degree in psychology and from Johnson State College, and also a master's degree in mental health counseling from Southern New Hampshire University. And I'm going to let you tell your own story about how you took those trainings and created somewhat of your own heartfelt, personally witnessed, effective approach that's not your general run-of-the-mill mental health support and counseling support. So did I hit that right?
Yeah, you did. I think that it's really hard to know like where we want to go in our life, right? Like we might start out thinking when we're a kid that we want to be a teacher because, that's what our parents like think that we would be good at. And so we like start on this journey and, the one thing that I always knew was that I was hugely a people person. I loved being around people. I loved having interactions with them. And as I grew older, like I went into roles as working with adults with developmental disabilities. I did that for many years, and I was a case manager for the Agency on Aging for many years. And then, things happened in my life, and I thought, well, like, there actually has to be more like of myself to offer to people, because I have all of these like life experience that have been happening. And it really like became truly evident through like other like alternative or like outside of the box experiences and trainings that I had that only just added to my psychology training, my mental health counseling experience. And it
I just want to throw
it
in
really
there,
it really like made like a path forward.
Kind of developed the direction you wanted to go. Yeah. I mean, one of the reasons I was excited to have you on is in my own work, I guess I'm an applied kinesiology chiropractor and I do a lot of naturopathic type work. And if people are eating well, resting, and, making sure their detox systems are working and all that good stuff, that's their biochemical self. I kind of see it as this triangle of health. One side is your chemical self, which is your biochemistry, your nutrients, and how your body's operating on a cellular level. And then there's your physical side where you're like body work, yoga, acupuncture, chiropractic, whatever. And then there's the emotional side, which I almost would call the energy body side. That if someone's doing all the right stuff and they're still kind of stuck in some patterns, how do you reach that part? And how do you get, what techniques, what methods let you access it and work with it to resolve things that might be blocking someone's health? But so I just wanted to throw that in there as to why I feel so excited to have you here, because you do that kind of work.
Yeah.
It sounds like you went and got the formal training, went and did some kind of formal structure-y jobs, and realized through your own experiences something deeper could be happening
Yeah.
as for what you offer. Do you want to talk about the story of what kind of opened you up to it?
Yeah, we were kind of like talking about this a little earlier, right? So back in 2018, I actually was living in community with two shamanic practitioners,
Mm-hmm.
a husband and a wife, and I learned um, about how to connect with myself in this energetic way, of how to like listen to my energetic body, how to listen to my inner voice, how to trust my intuition.
Was that done
Um,
through like meditation or some other kind of thing they were
it
doing?
was like done in what we call ceremony.
Mm-hmm.
We don't talk about ceremony.
Okay, so some sort of
Yeah, but
journey
it,
kind of thing.
yeah, so yeah, some journey work for
Mm-hmm.
sure.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and also in connecting with other like-minded women who just like really deeply held this safe circle
Mm,
for coming to ourselves and really like figuring out who we were on like a less, conscious level,
mm,
because so much lives in the subconscious mind that we have no idea until we actually settle down into it
mm,
and allow these things to come to our our vision,
mm. So,
and
sorry.
yeah, we're not taught to be with ourself or life in that way. And so that kind of work, that kind of shamanic work that I did with Nicole Burke in 2018, 2019, and the sisterhood that was formed there really
Wow.
opened me up to questioning, like, okay, like how can I invite more healing for myself?
Mm-hmm.
And then throughout several years, I continued to delve deeper into meditation, deeper into shamanic journey work,
Mm-hmm.
deeper into learning the tarot,
Mm-hmm.
and then learning about how the tarot can be a guide
Mm-hmm.
to opening up to myself and listening to my spirit guides,
Mm-hmm.
and figuring out the parts of me that have been dampened down
Mm.
through society, through just life.
Sort of
And
like what you were saying earlier, like the conscious stuff is what we take in, feedback from people, school, our parents' expectations, our friends' expectations, and we kind of get defined in that realm. But you're saying, let's go look underneath that conscious place, and the subconscious, when you get left alone with your own thoughts for a while, where your real self starts to come up, that's where you like to be working.
that's where the deep work begins to happen. And it can really bring up a lot.
Mm-hmm.
It can be really deep, difficult work um, that can really bring to surface a lot that has happened throughout this life, throughout our past lives, that our ancestors have experienced and that have been passed down to
Mm-hmm.
us. And yeah, my work now really is around uncovering what has become trapped. And I don't know, like if I'm like jumping ahead,
You're
but
going perfectly fine. Is that part of the root cause therapy or the?
that's part of root cause therapy, and that's also part of the emotion code.
Okay. Do you want to try
Yeah,
and define those two things a little bit? I
yeah.
know it's complex.
Yeah, I want to say like how I found them though
Yeah.
first. Um,
Do it.
so geez, pandemic was such a difficult time,
Yep.
and my sisterhood broke up, like people moved, things happened, and I felt like really alone, and I felt I wasn't able to find a therapist. They were
That's been
so
a
hard to
thing.
find in the pandemic. And so like I said, like I just started going to the tarot kind of, and then in 2021, I was living with my mom, and I was like really in this dark place of not knowing where I was going once again, because it's like this, like life is not linear, right? It's like spiralic, and we're always like being like thrown in and out of like of our path,
Hmm.
right? And like I was definitely out of my path.
I get you. Yeah, that was a moment of something else.
It was. I
Hmm.
was like, okay, geez, I've been really struggling for a long time to find my joy, to find connection to myself once again. Um, and what is going to bring me joy? What is going to bring me happiness? I need to find this because I can't continue on this life path of just such deep unknowing and not liking myself. Like I was back on that path of being like, okay, like who am I? What am I doing? Do I like myself? How do I get to like myself? How do I get to love myself?
Hmm.
And it just so happened that I saw this workshop called releasing negative emotions, and I was like, oh man, I have a lot of negative emotions that I want to find out how to release. Because man, they're
Sign
weighing
me
me
up.
down so deeply,
Mm.
you know? And so I went to this workshop, and this workshop actually ended up being an introduction to the emotion code, which is an energy healing modality that uses our subconscious mind. We use our body, kind of like when we go to see you, Susie. You test our body. You use kinesiology to find
Muscle
out what is
testing.
true. And so in that workshop, I was utilizing my body to find out what was true on a subconscious level, finding out where these emotions were trapped in my
Was
body.
that through the use of muscle testing?
It was through the use of muscle testing,
Oh,
through
cool.
the
So,
body sway test.
wow, that's awesome.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So through muscle testing, you're finding areas of like emotional stuff, like
Yes.
energy stuff. Oh, that's
Yeah.
awesome.
Yeah. So the emotion code utilizes a chart, and we utilize, well, so like when I'm doing it for myself in that moment, I was utilizing my body as a truth finder.
Hmm. Say more about that. What is it? How does that work?
Um, so how does it work?
I mean,
It's like magic.
yes,
It's
quantum
kind of like
physics, we're all
magic.
about that. But so like,
Yeah.
how do you experience it to like follow a stream of, how do you get to what you're finding?
Yeah. Um, I think you already need to have some sort of um a connection to your body.
Hmm.
And so I I've done so many things.
Hmm.
I'm also like a 200-hour yoga certified yoga instructor, but
Okay, so you're
um
plugged into being able
yeah,
to
so
use the
I'm
body.
already plugged in,
Hmm.
and I had already been seeing you, so I already knew about muscle testing,
Hmm.
right? But I don't think that I had actually ever done it on myself.
Hmm.
So we stand right with our feet on the ground.
Yep.
right? We find ourselves in a neutral position.
Yep.
And then we kind of like, we tap in.
Mm-hmm.
We like allow like all of the judgments, all the thoughts about what should be true, kind of like just like wash down.
Mm.
And then if we can, and this is difficult, it's not easy, like it takes practice, right?
Mm-hmm.
Being in the body takes practice. So we can find, just by asking our body, asking and trusting our subconscious mind, show me yes, right? Or show me no. And the
Mm-hmm.
body will actually respond, because we are, I mean, it's like this energetic force that is within us
Cool.
and around us, right? Like we are made of complete energy, as is everything else. Like it's kind of like the Matrix,
Yes, I love that
right?
stuff.
Like
So if I were to
yeah.
come to you as a person wanting to experience the emotion code, are we standing together? Take me through what it would be like.
Yeah, so that can actually be really really exhausting to
If
do
you're
an
standing.
entire emotion code session
Mm.
standing and using your body for like an entire 45 minutes.
Okay, so you
And
don't
it can
stand.
also, yeah. So oftentimes, if you're coming to me for an emotion code session, I am going to be proxying for you.
What does that mean?
So that means that we will make a subconscious connection with one another.
Mm-hmm.
And because I am energy and you are energy and we are made of the same energy,
Mm-hmm.
right? There's no difference here. So I just as well as you have this capability of connecting with with your subconscious mind
Awesome.
and being able to tap in. And so I don't utilize my body.
Mm-hmm.
I utilize a pendulum
Mm-hmm.
um, to find out what is true
Okay, so
and
you're
what is
getting
not
yes, no
true.
answers from your
Yes, right.
pendulum
So I
while
am
you're
asking, so right, so when we use the body, when we use the pendulum, there are also other, muscle testing, like the ring and ring. I know like y'all can't see me, but
yeah, we
um,
can see it.
oh, you can. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So the ring and ring finger, you kind of like make fingers like with your index finger and your thumb, and you hook them together. And this
Mm-hmm.
can also be a way of finding like
Like yes, no answers.
right, yes, no answers. And
Mm.
like we're not finding out like okay, like what happened, right? Like what made this emotion become trapped in me?
Mm-hmm.
I can
Mm-hmm.
never know that answer. We
That's for
can ask
the other
like,
person.
right. And that's oftentimes what happens, is that when we have this energetic connection and when we allow for this space to to just be,
Mm-hmm.
right? When we allow the space and time for us to actually connect to our intuitive body and mind,
Mm-hmm.
these memories oftentimes do pop up. And so my client might say to me, well, does this have to do with like school transition? Or does it have to do with this certain person?
Mm-hmm.
And so then I will ask my pendulum, does this
Mm-hmm.
have to do with this thing? And I will get a yes, or I will get a no answer.
Mm-hmm.
It's very woo-woo.
Well, woo-woo just means unseen.
Yes. Yes.
Like people
Yeah.
don't really know how their TV works either. How does that image
Right.
get on the screen?
Right.
But they still watch it.
But we still watch it. Exactly.
So
Yeah.
let me just make sure I'm following, because this is fascinating to me. So emotion code is trying to, so you set a space and you're connecting with the person you're working with. And this process allows you to sense where emotions are hung up in the body
Mhm.
and through working together with the person, they may ask certain questions to try to dial down into, if they can, the originating event that caused this emotion to get hung up there. And
Yeah.
and how is it released?
Yeah. I wanted to say too that what I do find out is what age that this emotion became trapped. So we at least have a starting point.
Okay, so they can get an idea of what time in
Yeah,
their
an
life.
idea. Exactly. Exactly. And so the way that we release the trapped emotion, so, I always stress that we are energetic beings. And so just by holding the energy within myself that I desire
Mhm,
for this to be released
mhm,
for my client,
mhm.
I come to them with so much love and so much gratitude. Um, and I also use like hematite magnets, because magnets are made of energy, and energy against energy allows
Mhm.
it to disperse. And
That's
so what
cool.
I do with these magnets, so from the top lip
Mhm.
here, and it runs all the way down the spine, down the center of the spine to the tailbone, is our energetic governing meridian.
Ooh, that sounds awesome.
Yeah, so it's like where so we have like these energetic meridians like running all throughout our body. But
Mhm.
the source of them is down that governing meridian line, like where the
Interesting.
chakras.
Okay, I never knew that. I've heard governing vessel, but I didn't know what it meant.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah, yeah, it's so cool. And so I run my magnet. So like if we were in the same room, I would run this magnet like down your spine.
Mhm,
And as we would say, like, I release, let's say we're releasing frustration. I
mhm,
release frustration.
mhm,
And so we can have actually several different types of trapped emotions.
mhm.
So we have these common trapped emotions inside of us that have occurred from our birth until now.
Wow.
We also have what can also come up are these prenatal trapped emotions
Ooh,
that happened your mom while you were in your mama's womb. Your mom experienced something,
okay.
and then we find out what trimester that this was experienced and when you took this on.
Oh, that's amazing.
Yeah, it's so cool.
I have a question.
Yeah.
So here's me. I'm walking around in my life and I'm not aware of, but I have these trapped emotions in my body. How might it be affecting my wellness?
Yeah, yeah. Oh my gosh, because the trapped emotions kind of like block the energy flow,
Mhm.
right? It doesn't allow our chi. I don't know a whole lot about chi, but
Yeah, but like
know enough.
acupuncturists are always trying to
Yep.
open up the flow of
Yeah,
healing. Mhm.
exactly. So it could come up as physical ailments in
Hmm.
our body, because the energy isn't really able to flow the way that it's meant to.
Okay.
It can also come up in emotional ways, like not being able to connect with other people
Okay.
or with ourselves.
Mhm.
Maybe we really don't allow ourselves to feel a
Mhm.
lot of emotion.
Mhm.
Um,
I
it
wonder about
can,
PTSD when you talk about this.
yeah, absolutely. I
Post-traumatic
haven't.
stress disorder for people who don't know that
Yeah,
definition.
yeah, absolutely. Anxiety, stress, when we experience big, huge things in our life, like,
Mhm.
well, like, of course, like war comes to mind, but when
Mhm.
we experience, um, sexual traumas,
Mhm.
they, of course, leave huge, uh, a huge effect on our
Sure.
body, on
Yeah.
our mind, on the way that we can feel that it's safe to
Mhm.
move throughout the world.
You don't know why you do all these workshops for
Exactly.
self-worth and getting rid of
Exactly.
negative self-talk and all that stuff, but you just can't break the pattern.
Exactly. And
Curious.
and and that's where root cause therapy is super helpful as well. Root
Let's
cause
talk
therapy
about that.
really focuses um on the limiting beliefs that we have adopted throughout our life,
So this is a
through the
different,
many traumas that we have experienced
got
in
you.
our life. Yeah,
And
like
go ahead.
sorry, go ahead.
I was just going to say emotion code is one thing, and then root cause therapy is a little different.
Yeah. Yeah, it's one is so emotion code is very non-invasive, right? Like so like I'm doing essentially like doing the work for you.
Yeah.
In root cause therapy, you play an active part in your healing.
What does that look like?
I am just a guide for you. So also utilizing kinesiology through the body sway test. This one, you actually do utilize the body sway test to find what limiting beliefs you have or have not adopted.
What's the body sway test?
Yep, that's where we stand in our body and we ask, um, show me yes, and your body would energetically be pulled forward
Cool.
for a yes, and then we would reset. And then if the answer is no, you would feel like this slight tug like behind, and you would kind of move backwards for a no answer. So it's like this like innate way to find out what is true on a subconscious level for your
Cool.
body.
You know, I've heard that described also as you feel your weight going toward the balls of your feet. 'Cause it
Yes.
can be so subtle. You don't see your body like jet forward, but you
Yeah,
feel your weight go toward the balls of your feet or toward your heels. It's kind of like,
that's right.
whoa, this is
That's
actually
right.
really happening.
Yeah, yeah. I've seen it all. Like some people are very much thrown,
Mm.
and some people I can barely see move.
Okay.
And so I'm trusting them to feel in their body. And sometimes it takes a lot of practice.
So root
Because it doesn't
cause,
come naturally.
this yes, no testing in the root cause is trying to get you to what? An original event again?
Right. So first we need to identify what we need to heal for you.
Mm.
So there's this testing sheet that we will go through, a list of, 30 or so limiting beliefs like I trust myself, I love myself, it is
Oh,
safe to be in the world, um, I love my body, money is evil. All of these different beliefs that we could have um, could have adopted throughout our life. And through your intake, I will help to narrow down what it is that we would maybe be wanting to work on together. Like
awesome.
I would imagine that if you come to me and for root cause therapy, that you have these patterns that you've been seeing come up in your life. Like I just can't seem to find where I want to go in my life. Or like I just don't trust that like I just haven't trusted anybody in my whole entire life. And now I'm married and these things are coming up in my marriage. And I want a little bit of help to fix those. And so we utilize what is called timeline therapy. So we essentially get you into a really relaxed state,
Mm-hmm.
and we invite your subconscious mind to come forward, allowing the conscious mind to take the back seat.
Mm-hmm.
And we have you imagine this timeline of your past, now, and your future. Like a literal, like you like imagine it in your mind.
Mm-hmm.
And after we find out what we want to be working on, we will choose a limiting belief, and
Mm-hmm.
then you will actually go into the very first time that you experienced something that led you to have this limiting belief.
Interesting.
Yeah, it's like, it's very imaginative. It's kind of like being like in a dream state.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes you see things, sometimes you feel things. And then what we do is we identify the emotions that are present while you are experiencing this event that happened.
So if I've
And
gone
then,
back in my, vision of my past and I have an event come up, you're going to help me name the emotions that I'm feeling right now as
yeah,
I'm remembering that.
yeah, and like,
I see.
and where you're feeling those in your body.
Mm,
We bring somatics into it.
mhm,
Um, and then we, well, you,
mhm,
you increase that emotion. You bring it to its highest level that you can handle. And then I guide you to safely release that
awesome.
emotion. And then we see what else comes up.
Hmm,
And what's so incredible about this work is that through actually working through the emotions that are present
mhm,
in this event that comes up for you, you are able to gain a new perspective on what the truth of the event actually was, and you get to bring the knowledge of your now self
mhm,
to that past self,
mhm,
and just gain so much more insight and so many learnings
mhm.
that are then made conscious. um
That's amazing. So I could
yeah.
imagine that might, just listening to you describe that, and I can go in my mind from a trauma that is my dad stepped on a toy and said, "Brah," and I made up the
Yeah,
decision that my dad doesn't love me,
right.
to a physical assault, like, and everything in
Mhm,
between. Like some
mhm,
things you're
yeah,
like, oh, I misunderstood that. And other things are like, no, I didn't misunderstand anything.
right.
But getting in there and having a broadened perspective might release the effect of the trauma.
That's right.
Okay.
That's
That's
right. And we do it,
profoundly.
we will at first, because if we do not feel safe, our subconscious mind won't allow us to bring up these memories.
The
So
things
the
won't
first
come up
step,
that you're not ready
right,
for.
right. So the
Mhm,
first step is to lay this foundation of
mhm,
safety,
mhm.
of finding safe space,
Yeah.
safe place in your own body.
Sounds
Um,
amazing.
yeah.
So when we send this podcast out into the ethers, and if someone finds it interesting, you're here at Cedarwood Space on Shelburne Road in South Burlington, offering some sessions there. I guess
I offer
how
Reiki there. Yep.
Reiki for here?
Reiki for here. And then we will do emotion code or root cause therapy. We do that over Zoom.
Okay,
Yep.
got it. That's
Yeah.
interesting.
I can offer emotion code in the office, but
Mhm.
um it works just as well
Either
over
way, isn't it
Zoom,
interesting?
and my availability is so much wider.
If you're
Right,
doing it
because
through
I
Zoom.
only just have, some like one day at Cedarwood um
Yeah, that's
for
true at
right
this
now.
point.
So
Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
Okay. Well, I find this profound because, like we were saying in the beginning, people that have just run into a block and not being able to shift something, I find it just a really wonderful resource to have something that you might be able to go beneath the consciousness in a safe, trusting space to see if you can find something that might move you on your path that you're trying to have move. How about, do you have any stories for us of, and I know, you know, confidentiality is a thing, so we're not talking about anyone specific, but can you give a story of something you witnessed in your work that you found profound, like on someone you were helping?
I was just like, what I was actually just like thinking about was like I actually just like wanted to say like why, like what my like focus,
Do
like
it.
my hope
Yeah, let's
is
hear
for
it.
doing this work. And I have several people that I think about, but I think that the whole reason that I really want to offer Reiki and emotion code and root cause therapy is to help other female identified folks. I am open to working with males, but not really many males come to me, which is interesting. But it is my hope to help other female identified folks know their worth, you know, to feel comfortable in their body, to feel that they can meet the world in a way that that is meaningful for them, you know, and so that they can find some acceptance of themselves, because that is what this work did for me in my darkest time. You know, I was able to utilize these methods and find these methods. And yeah, I was working with a woman uh who was in a similar dark situation, and had a lot of grief in her life, through life, just life, right?
Yeah.
And it actually manifested in her body, in her hip. I've actually treated worked with, I don't treat, I worked with worked with a couple of folks who had bodily manifestations of trapped energy. And within 2 sessions of emotion code, and this one woman, I also offered her Reiki at the same time as working through emotion code with her. The pain was gone.
Wow.
Yeah. So
That's amazing.
it is amazing, you know, and I've seen other women like open up to acknowledging that they deserve abundance in their business, you know. Like I just like I saw a woman the other weekend at a retreat, and she said, Reyna, I can't wait to connect with you again, because so many good things have happened to me since we have met.
Oh,
Happened for me since we have met, you know. And it just brings me so much joy.
yeah.
You know, it just brings me so much joy when people are once again able to feel love and to have realizations about who they actually are and who they want to be, you know.
It's
It's
so
just
amazing to
incredible,
hear.
and I feel so blessed.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
beautiful the way you describe it. I mean, the phrasing that strikes me the most is being able to be in the world. Like we're so out of our bodies so much of the time, especially now with so many things going on at once. And we've been through a pretty rough few years, and so much has happened, so much emotional load. The world is doing crazy things. And to find a way to actually be present and be in the world and love yourself at that time. I mean, gosh, and I
It's
can
so
imagine how,
hard.
Wow. I mean, it's a process, right? It's not like you
Yeah.
did it once and you're all set usually. But
Yeah.
I find that amazing. Like when people are in that space, and this is part of what I think my service is, my purposeful work, is helping people find their way to that place where they are thriving and they feel open and flowing and present. And then we have more ability to help others.
Yeah.
Because if we're not feeling great or we're not in our bodies and all of those things have us locked down and blocked up, we can't care
Right.
as much. And I just feel like we generally want to help each other. People are so beautiful.
Yeah.
So I
They
think,
really are.
isn't it
We
something?
really are. Yeah. Yeah. It really, does take a village.
Mm,
We're not just here for ourselves,
mm-hmm.
you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, and all of us have this this magic within us.
Mm-hmm.
It's just about clearing out what doesn't belong to us anymore,
Mm-hmm.
allowing that to release so that we can actually truly see and feel who we really are, you know?
Beautiful.
And it's nobody's fault that that happens.
Yeah.
It's nobody's fault that we get stuck.
Mm-hmm.
It's just life, right?
It is what's up. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, so here's one of my favorite questions to ask people. I know other podcasters do this question, but I really like it. If you could go back to your 20-year-old self and give her just a little advice, what would you say to her?
Yeah.
Mm.
Oh boy.
You know how I love
Yeah.
unrehearsed.
Oh, it's so interesting because I was just like, I was just using the emotion code for myself yesterday, and all of these things from my 20s came up.
Oh,
And I was just like thrown like right back into like being that age and being like, oh yeah. Yeah. So I think, I think that she needs to know that she's just going to be just fine,
yeah.
and to just follow her heart,
Mm.
to not get bogged down by what other people think that she should be doing with her life,
Mm-hmm.
to just keep going, to follow her heart, and that she will make it,
That's beautiful.
and
I
that there
love
are
that.
going to be bumps along the road, but don't let them get you down, girl. Like,
Mm.
and
Yeah.
there are so many beautiful people to help you along the way.
Mm-hmm.
Like we don't know that when we're in our 20s. Like,
Yeah.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and it's kind of like oftentimes we feel like we need to know all the answers, and like we need to know like
Mm-hmm.
where this, my college experience is going to take me.
Right, right, right. Well,
But we
people are
don't like,
pressuring you to tell them, what are
yeah.
you gonna do when you da da da?
Yeah, what are you gonna do when you grow up?
Uh-huh. Well,
Yeah.
I'm so
Yeah.
thrilled that we had you on here today. I want to make sure before we go, though, that you let people know if they want to find you, how do they do it?
Yeah. So I have a website, and you
Okay.
can find me at breathinginwellness.com.
Okay.
You can also reach me by email, Reyna, Reyna, at breathinginwellness.com.
Okay. And I'll put those links in the
Yeah,
notes beneath the
perfect.
podcast so people will be able to catch that. All
Yeah.
right. So they'll be able
Yeah.
to find you and chat to see if they can,
Yeah.
if what you're doing makes sense for what they're experiencing. And
Yeah.
that's
I offer a 20-minute free consultation so that we can talk about those kinds of things and see if we would be a match for one another.
that's a great thing.
Yeah. I
Okay.
also have an Instagram page, Suzy.
You do. Look at you being on social
Oh,
media.
I know.
Is it also breathing in
It's
wellness?
breathe in wellness.
Breathe in wellness.
Yep. Yes. Yeah.
Okay, well, I'll make sure I get those spellings right so I can put them in the notes beneath the recording here.
I appreciate
Wow,
that.
thank you so much for spending time. These things are so hard to describe, and you did a really beautiful job of helping
Oh,
people
thank you.
understand it.
Thank
And
you
I
so
hope
much.
that anyone who's feeling stuck or, just knows something, they need help in a way that's not your traditional, you know, path. So
Yeah.
thank you so much.
I'm here.
And I'll just remind people, this is my podcast, Next7. I'm Dr. Suzy Harris. And this podcast focus really is to be bringing the awareness up of how do we assist each other to thrive. Access to clean food, organic foods for everyone, clean water available to everyone, and the knowledge and access to not more functional, but functional healthcare that digs a little deeper than just the regular path that can be going on. Sometimes you need something more. So thank you all for listening. And I really appreciate that you were with me here today, Reyna.
Thank you so much, Dr. Suzy.
You're welcome. See you soon, okay?
Okay.